HA Beauty by Julia. I'm Julia and I'm a virtual beauty therapist. I have been one for over 11 years. Skincare is my passion and also most certainly it is my job. I hope you enjoyed this channel, and if you do so, please consider subscribing to it, press on the notification bell. You can also find me and follow me in Instagram and TikTok for much more beauty content. The video today, as promised, is about Snail Filtrate. Our love towards using snails for our skin have been dating back into ancient Greece. So that's when we started using snails in order to reduce the signs of aging but also inflammations. Then we kind of forgot about them, but back in the 80s, as people from Chile have been preparing the snails to be shipped from South America to France for their cuisine, they started to realize that the condition of their hands have been gradually improving. So we found once again snails as part of our skincare for about maybe 20-30 years ago. And to my surprise, not just Korean beauty, but brands like Cantabria Labs, which comes from Spain, have been using snail filtrates for the past 20 years. However, the hype started with K-beauty for sure. So for the past 5 years, snail filtrate products have been everywhere in social media, in magazines. Online, you just type snail and you will see so many different reviews and etc. But I wanted to do this video about the ingredients. I want to highlight something very important. You have to bear in mind that snail filtrate is a very little scientifically researched type of ingredient. So while we do have studies, many of them are very small, they are not very well regulated, often they are not blind, often they are affiliated with brands, companies, manufacturers that are selling this ingredient, so we have to take the result with a pinch of salt and doubt. So this is ingredient which we really don't know a lot about, and there's a lot of variables. Snail filtrate is not, as you might think, the trail that the snail is leaving after it moves around. This is what I also thought it is. So basically I thought that maybe the snails are walking on something like a treadmill and this is how people are collecting the snail filtrate. But this is really not the case. The snail filtrate used into skincare is the substance, the secretion that the snail is giving when it is under stress. And here comes the problem from point of view of cruelty towards the animals. A lot of organizations and consumers have been highlighting the fact that a lot of the farmers that are actually extracting this type of snail filtrate are stressing them in order to get what we want for our skincare. So they might use salty water, vinegar, they might poke them with sticks in order for the animal to get stressed and for us to get forever young. So this is the price and it's rather high. A lot of the brands and a lot of the farmers do not highlight the fact that they are cruelty free. They just don't mention where the snail filtrate is coming from and what practice has been used. So it is very difficult to find out what this happened. One of the few brands that actually is offering cruelty-free snail filtrate is Cosmeceutical. The reason being is because the farmers that they are working with are using different technique. So they kind of created like a snail spa. So the snails are immersed into steam rooms and therefore they have this type of secretions instead of the animal being stressed, poked and etc. That's why you have some snail filtrates which are highlighted as cruelty-free. But if they are not, then very likely you are using something that is harming animals. They are not killed in the process because if the snail dies, the secretion that we get can be potentially harmful to the skin because it might contain different type of toxin. This is how the animal is. So they're not killed, but it does sound like many of them are torture. Snail farmers have been seeing a demand which is rising with 400% for the past few years. In Italy to this day there are over 4,000 different snail farming communities. So they're not snails that are just crawling around and people are picking. The snails into your skincare and in your dish are coming from snail farms, specifically looked after. And the market is growing so much that it is expected in 2025 to get up to 770 million. Unless you have allergic reaction or you're vegan, Snail Filtrate products are something that literally everyone can benefit. They are multitaskers. Often people suggest them for dry skin, but actually if you are aging, if you're dehydrated, if you're sensitive, if you need something to moisturize, hydrate your skin, then yes, you can certainly benefit from Snail. The Snail Filtrate into skincare usually comes from garden snails, but not necessarily. Also, it depends how the animals are looked after, what they're fed. There's a lot that we don't know when we are looking into the Snail Filtrate, as I already mentioned, and I want to highlight. However, we do know that the Snail Filtrate contains a few very nice things that you will see in a lot of skincare. One of them, allantoin, which is very soothing. Hyaluronic acid, humectant, great, you will see it a lot. Glucosaminoglycans, so these are sugary molecules that work as humectants and as moisturizers. You will actually see that in the Snail Filtrate there's a little bit of glycolic acid, so you will see why it works very well as humectant once again, but also it is smoothing, improving the texture of the skin. There's collagen, there's elastin as well into the filtrate. There's a few different enzymes and peptides, including copper peptides, but you have to bear in mind that there's a lot of variables. We don't know the exact quantities and we don't know how much exactly do they work for the skin. As this is not the normal secretion, which is targeting just lubrication and easy movement, but it is the one when the animal is stressed. It contains naturally a lot of growth factors. So the reason is because if there's any kind of damage for the animal, this type of slime is going to repair quicker the skin. Therefore, you can see why a lot of the brands are climbing for anti-aging benefits. There are a few studies that are looking into reduction of lines and etc. But they are just for a few people, usually not more than 50. Usually they are affiliated with different brands. I will add, as usually, a few different studies that you can have a look into the description box if you're curious, if you want to know a bit more about the science behind what I am saying. Because of the demand, a lot of the scientists started to check out if just snail filtrate can be beneficial or actually something else, like the snail egg extract. They use sometimes stem cells from them. So there was a study with about 50 participants and they were all women with mature skin. The study was for 3 months, so there was one active month and 2 months afterwards looking into the results. There were 3 groups. One was using the snail filtrates, the other one was using snail egg extract, and the third one was the control group. The groups using snail products definitely saw improvement, but also this is a study that is not as huge and it is not controlled in the best type of environment, but this is one of the examples that you will see a lot of the brands saying, proving the efficiency from point of view of anti-aging care. The reason why the snail filtrate might be beneficial even if your skin is oily is one, because it is moisturizing and hydrating, so this totally makes sense and you might need especially hydrating ingredients. Then you have the improvement of the speedy healing. So as once again we are talking about animal who might be in danger, the secretion is a full with regenerative type of components, and that's why there's a few little studies which are looking people who have some kind of damage onto the skin, so broken skin barrier, and they have used some kind of ointment or lotion that contains some kind of snail filtrate and checking out the result afterwards. So as the foot of the snail, its body is what is in constant contact with the surface. This slime that it produces all the time is full with antimicrobial type of properties. And we actually know about them from the beginning of the 80s because there was a few studies that were looking into the giant African snail, and scientists found quite great results. Soothing products are also something suitable for everyone, whether you have naturally irritable skin, whether you are going a bit overboard with your actives. But the fact that the snail filtrate contains allantoin is great from the point of view of calming down the skin. Also, you have a few different nutrients, different minerals, you have manganese, you have zinc, which are great for oily skin, also to reduce the breakouts. So you have a lot of different little compounds which can be found into your snail filtrate, but their concentration can actually quite a bit vary. So if we have to summarize about the skincare benefits from the use of snail filtrate, first and foremost, it is humectant. So the plumpness that you will see is very likely, especially initially,
100%
from the humectants. So the better water retention makes the skin looking plump and much smoother, reducing the size of the wrinkles. But this is water, this is not some kind of magic that you will see from the second use. The second benefit is that it looks like it can improve the production of collagen into the skin because of the growth factors that it contains. Then we have the speedy healing, which can be great even if you have breakout prone skin, because it means that once when you have blemish, it will be quicker to heal and leave less marks. Then we have the fact that it is soothing, which is great for literally everyone because it contains allantoin, and it is also antimicrobial, which again is great from the point of view of improving the protection from the outside environment for our skin. If you don't want to use snail filtrate for one or another reason, you can always use ingredient in skincare that the filtrate is naturally containing. So from the hyaluronic acid, glycolic acid, allantoin, peptides, and etc. And combining them, you can get results similar to the one from the snail filtrate. The other ingredient, as I already mentioned, that scientists are making a few different products with, is actually the snail egg extract, and it's stem cells from the snail eggs that are used into a few different brands. Another ingredient that came to my attention was cone snail venom, and this is ingredient which is a Botox-like. We really like this type of determination for ingredients because it shows how great it works. Now, this is actually a synthetic ingredient, so it's not like there's a lot of snails that have been collected, done something with them, experimented, and etc. But the scientists know that the venom of this snail actually has paralytic type of properties. So they created type of peptide which has the same type of function. So they studied this snail but created synthetic ingredient that mimics the same function. And this is something that you might be able to see in the future much more. At last, I wanted to show you 3 of my favorite products. First one is this. So this is the Coxier, and it's the Black Snail Collagen Cream. This is a moisturizer that I use overnight. I wasn't sure if I'm gonna like it because it has added fragrance. However, I experienced absolutely no irritation. I wake up to nice, smooth, silky and very plump skin, and I can absolutely recommend it. If you wonder how much I like it, I will show you. I actually nearly finished it. You can see it's slimy. The second product that I wanted to show you is, of course, the Snail Essence 96 from Cosmeceutical. This is the product. You can see that I'm half of it gone. This is my second one, and this is the texture of it. So there is a little bit of body, but it absorbs really nicely onto the skin. If your skin is oily, you can always use it in the evening. So even if you feel like it's a bit heavy, you will see a lot of improvement, but you won't get the yucky sensation if you want, because you are not using it during the day. And then the last product that I wanted to show you is one of my newest addition, and it is the Tiam Water Essence. Now I'm up until here of this one, and it is very nice. You have azulene here, which is coming from chamomile into this product. It is great soothing ingredient. If your skin is oily, this is something that you can use because there is no residue. Once when you apply it onto the skin, it's quite slippery, but actually there's nothing left afterwards. This is the texture of it. So you can see it does look like a normal essence. There is a little bit of herbally smell because of the chamomile inside. As the studies that we have so far about Snail Filtrate are so promising, actually there's a lot more studies coming which are looking into the Snail Filtrate in not just use into skincare, but also as post-surgical infection prevention, as gastric ulcer treatment, even as melanoma treatment, but once again this is very far still, as coating for implants, as delivery system, as it is used also in the food industry. So a lot is to come, a lot is unknown. We don't know the perfect snail concentration, we don't know if it's affected, its stability from cold, from heat, from humidity, from other ingredients like perfume, essential oils, from other actives. We don't know if there's any best type of way of extraction, any way that can be maximize the benefits from point of view of filtration. So we just don't know a lot. We are guessing a lot. It sounds wonderful. We can see difference, but we hugely
don't know why.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Press on the notification bell. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite snail product. I hope I'll see you again and have a wonderful day.